Hello classes, how are you? Today we are going to discuss our first chapter, that is computer fundamentals. In this chapter you have to focus on, or you will get the knowledge of central processing unit, input devices, memory and storage devices, output devices, and classification of computers. So first of all, we will start our topic, computer fundamental, the meaning of computer fundamental, or the meaning of the topic. Basically, computer works on only one sequential fundamental, that is, it takes input from the users, it processes that input and create it meaningful, and then generates the output. These are the basic three fundamentals of a computer. So what are they? Input, process and output. After that, one optional fundamental is storage. See, let us take an example of a floor mill. Yes, that is okay. Floor mill. In a floor mill, you had seen that the person puts the wheat on a dump, a type of container, a big container, in which it put the wheat. He put the wheat. After that, that wheat was crushed by the internal motor and then come out in the form of flour. So the putting of wheat is known as input. वो इनपुट हो गया, और जो पिसाई हो रही है, that is processing, and then the wheat, the flour is coming out, जो आटा निकल के आ रहा, that is output. If the flour is okay, then we will put it in the container, otherwise we will throw it out. अगर किसी तरह से अगर पत्थर टूट जाता है या कुछ कोई मिसहैपनिंग हो जाती है, तो हम उस आटे को नहीं रखते हैं, हम उसे बाहर फेंक देते हैं. So that's why I'm saying that storage is optional. If you want to store any data, then only you will store, otherwise you will let it be out from the computer. So for all these fundamentals or all these processes, some devices are required. So first of all, the first stage, that is the input stage. For input stage, there are several devices which are used to take input from the users. But before starting the input devices, let us discuss on this topic, central processing unit, CPU. See, basically CPU is known as the brain of computer. Why? Because all the types of data is processed in CPU only. So CPU, the brain of computer. Basically CPU is divided in three forms, that is CU, AU and LU. Okay, CU. CU is known as the control unit of the CPU. ये परिवार के एक मुखिया की तरह होता है, जो AU और LU दोनों में डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा को देता है. AU, arithmetical unit. Arithmetical unit is used to solve the arithmetical problems or process the arithmetical problems. जिस भी प्रकार का arithmetical problem आता है, वो AU के हिस्से में जाता है और AU उसे प्रोसेस करता है, और प्रोसेस करने के बाद से वापस ये CU को दे देता है. सेम इसी तरह से कंट्रोल यूनिट, जब लॉजिकल इश्यूज आते हैं तो लॉजिकल इश्यू को LU को देता है. ये दोनों जब प्रोसेस हो जाते हैं, देन CU अगेन जनरेट्स द आउटपुट, एंड इफ इट इज रिक्वायर्ड देन इट इज स्टोर्ड इन द स्टोरेज डिवाइसेस. नाउ द फर्स्ट थिंग, that is input devices. What is input devices? The devices which are responsible to take input from the users and send it to the CPU for the processing is known as the input devices. वो devices जो यूज़र से इनपुट लेकर के CPU तक पहुंचाते हैं उन्हें इनपुट डिवाइसेस कहते हैं. द बेसिक इनपुट डिवाइस ऑफ कंप्यूटर इज द कीबोर्ड. अब नाउ वाई कीबोर्ड इज नोन एज द बेसिक डिवाइस, ये भी एक क्वेश्चन है कि कीबोर्ड को ही हम बेसिक इनपुट डिवाइस क्यों कहेंगे, दूसरा कोई और क्यों नहीं हो सकता है. माउस इज ऑल्सो देयर, बट वॉट हैपन, most of the people used to lock the computer by the help of the password, and password can be typed only by the keyboard. So we can say that without keyboard we cannot start the computer. That's why the keyboard is known as the basic input device of computer. Now the second input device, that is mouse. Mouse, I think you all know. Basically mouse is a input device, and in other words we can say a mouse is a pointing device because it is used for pointing. In spite of pointing, mouse does some various activity, that is dragging, dropping, scrolling, selection of the things or the contents. It have 3 buttons, left button, right button and scroll button. Left button is used for the selection, right button to open the menu, and scrolling for scroll the pages up to down and down to up. After that, some more input devices are there, that is OMR. OMR is now popular in all the examinations. OMR, the full form of OMR is optical mark reader. By that, the computer can read only the marks by the coordinates. Magnetic ink character reader, MICR. Basically MICRs are used in the check of the banks. It is a type of magnetic ink which is readable by the MICR readers. Again, barcode reader. In all the malls or the big shops, you had seen one device is there which is used to generate the bills of the equipments which we are purchasing. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा मॉल में या बड़े बड़े दुकानों में गन टाइप का एक डिवाइस होता है जिसमें से एक लाइट निकलती है और वो जो बार कोडिंग रहती है सामान की उसको रीड करता है, एंड देन द कंप्यूटर जनरेट्स द बिल. One more device is there, that is digital camera. For digital camera, you all know that what is a digital camera. It is used for clicking the photos. Yes. Now these all devices which we had discussed are known as the input devices of computer because they takes the input from the users or from the environment from the devices, or from the sheets and give it to the CPU for the processing. That's why the devices are known as the input devices. Now memory and storage devices. Basically, what are the memory and storage devices? So mainly computers memory is divided in 3 types, that is primary or main memory, secondary memory and cache memory. First of all, the primary memory. Primary memory holds the data and instruction on which a computer is working. All the types of instructions are fed in primary memory. It cannot be erased by the normal users. It can be erased by the programmers, and some of these memories are permanent. We cannot erase it. Beside of erasing it, we can replace it. The primary memory is basically divided in two forms, that is RAM and ROM. RAM means the random access memory, RAM, RAM. RAM is the random access memory. In RAM, the data is for sometimes only, means if once the computer is restarted, the data will vanish, all the data will lost. That's why the RAM is known as the temporary memory. But again, if it is temporary memory, then why it is put it in the form of primary memory? Why? Because it is holding the entire data, or the entire data just buffered in the RAM, and then it will go to the processing devices. That's why it is known as the random access memory. Secondly, the second device is ROM, that is read only memory. In the read only memory, the chips, the controllers and the other ICs are there, which are known as the non-volatile memory. The non-volatile memory means it can hold the data for the longer time. Now, the second stage of the memory is secondary memory. What is secondary memory? Secondary memory is the memory in which the data and programs are stored permanently for the user purpose. It is for the user purpose, means the secondary memory is used only and only by the users. Secondary memory holds the data for a long time and in a large amount. The examples of secondary memory are hard disk, CD, DVD, Blu-ray and USB flash. Now the third type of memory, that is cache memory. Cache memory is a type of temporary memory in which the data is stored which is likely to be used again and again by the computer. Like सपोज करो आपने MS वर्ड खोला, तो पहली बार खोलने में टाइम लगता है, लेकिन दोबारा खोलने में उसे टाइम नहीं लगता है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो उसका इंडेक्स कैश मेमोरी में स्टोर हो जाते हैं, और जब आप दोबारा MS वर्ड को खोलते हो तो वो तुरंत खुल जाता है. So students, these were the topics of computer fundamentals. The output devices and the other topics we will discuss in our next class.